I am back from my summer travels, which include the 2023 US Go Congress, and a good time was had by all. I'm going to be recording a series of videos here about my most serious games from the Congress. I don't think I'll do all of them, but I'll probably do a good chunk, and we'll go through it a little bit more like a serious study, try to actually teach you something or give you some bigger concepts to think about. But I am happy to report that I did well this year. I did place, this is my little trophy, third place in the Fordon section, which is about equivalent to, I think 24th overall in the US Open. And that gets a little bit misleading because it doesn't count the Masters players, but technically it's true. So I finished 24th out of, I think in the US Open there were 276 players. It was a fairly small field this year. The Go Congress was in Cleveland. We're still kind of in the post-pandemic. So this is one of the smaller Go Congresses in recent memory. The biggest of which I believe was 611 players, I think. Maybe someone from the AGA can correct me on that. I think that was Boston, right after AlphaGo. So a little bit smaller field, and it comes and goes. Next year, the Go Congress will be in Portland, and at Portland State University. I'm very excited about that one. That's fairly close to where I'm living here in Seattle. If you guys are interested in Go and want to take a week, or even less, you don't have to come for the full week, but it is a week-long event. If you have the time and the money and want to come to Portland for a week next summer, start putting that idea into your head right now. So anyway, let's talk about the US Open. And I'm going to be, over the series of videos, I'll be telling various stories and anecdotes from the Go Congress. And so they'll just sort of come out organically, I think. But let's start with the US Open. What is the US Open? It's the largest North American tournament every year. And traditionally they do 6 rounds, and it's McMahon pairing scoring system, which is kind of like a modified Swiss, where you have... you start with people, instead of being randomized, you start with people in your band, and it doesn't really matter, but you can look it up if you want. You get 90 minutes on each of you and your opponent's clocks, and so these games can go quite long. It's not uncommon for your US Open games to go over 3 hours. So these are, some of the most serious games of Go you'll play all year. And for that matter, this is one of the main reasons why I go. Like I want to go play the most serious Go I play all year. I know, especially on this channel, I'm drinking wine, having fun at my own house. I'm just having a good time. But, I go to the Go Congress and play in the US Open specifically to really, put my foot down. I don't know what metaphor to use here. What to really push the pedal to the metal? No, this is nothing is coming out poetically. So anyway, the US Open. This is my first round game. I'm going to show and step with you guys today. The US Open did start real late, like almost an hour late this year. Normally we start rounds pretty promptly at 9 a.m. whenever possible. Because again, if you're playing a 3-hour game or longer, because again, there's still Byoyomi time. So I've played some US Open games that have gone closer to 4 hours. You don't want to start late because people want to eat lunch like me. They used to do sealed moves. I think they're not doing that anymore, or I don't know. If you don't know about sealed moves, go watch Hikaru no Go. They have a great episode or two about it. That I think really drives that point home. I don't think they're doing that anymore. And next year, I think they're going to move to Fisher time instead of the traditional Byoyomi time. That's a rumor. Don't quote me. But if it does happen, I'm excited for it. I actually like Fisher time better. Anyway, let's. Oh, and also, here's my hand. I sprained my wrist while I was in Ohio, so that's also a fun thing I came back with, doing some bouldering. Anyway, let's dive into the game, because I am calling this video Beast Mode, and if you're already looking ahead, or at least above my head, I guess it is ahead. You can see the scoring, the AI scoring for this graph does support this thesis, and this happens a lot in my games where I play a very strong opening, I get ahead. I make some blunder or series of blunders, and my opponent sort of takes command of the board for a good long time, and we just have to go into some sort of other place of mind, somewhere insane, something like beast mode, to wrench this game back into the W. And that's exactly what happened here. And this is very common for a lot of my games, where you see this very similar pattern. So let me show you how I did it. So the opening, a few things. Number one, I've really been playing a lot of 4-4 and 3-4 openings, just both as white and black. This is what I've been playing for most of the year, so that's what I played almost this entire tournament. That's what I was most prepared for. Again, play what's most comfortable to you. This isn't a thesis or a statement about go at large. It's just do what you want to do. Everything here is pretty typical. We play, pretty much, as far as the AI is concerned, at least mistake-free for a while. My opponent's already taking a large-scale position on the left-hand side of the board. And so this game, at least at the start, is going to be kind of defined by, how we deal with this. Like black is putting the initiative on us as white to either find a way to make something as large or invade. And you can just see from this board position, there's almost nothing possible to make as large on this board with this particular configuration of stones, unless I split these two and attack, do something of the sort. So right away, I was originally going to title this video, How to Not Respond to a Shoulder Hit for 85 Moves, or whatever it is, because that's what happens here. My opponent plays this beautiful shoulder hit. Maybe I should take the little icons off. We are on AI Sensei, which I like a lot, and I lost my mouse cursor. Mouse cursor, where are you? There we go. How do we move you down here? Enable AI. If I just do that, there we go. We'll turn that back on a little bit, but just to clean up the board and give you a better visual of where this game is at. This shoulder hit, I'm not going to respond to forever. Like forever in this game. We're going to do so many more things before I respond to this. But I really like his move. Like this is probably the move I would have played too if I was playing black, because it really emphasizes this whole center left moyo thing that's going on. And so right away I play here, and indeed this is the AI move. The AI is very much a fond of this attachment when your opponent is trying to build a large moyo off of the 3-4 stone. If you don't have this move as part of your vocabulary, you should add it. Traditionally, players would play here or sometimes here. And again, this was particularly more common like going into the 90s and early 2000s. This has been very common throughout Go history. But the problem with this is you immediately come under attack. And are you going to build a base like this? Well, this feels pretty bad. Like you're real cramped. Now, this move here at 9 does make sure you're alive. But while that happened, black both got to take some more points at the top, as well as really expand the left side moyo, and you're just too small. So one of the moves that the AI has championed, and again, if you don't have this as part of your vocabulary, is this attachment. And so you'll see this all the time now. Okay, black has a lot of responses here. I don't want to go through them now, but this is all of them are pretty simple, like relatively. Maybe the hardest one is something like this, where black just starts a fight immediately, and even so, white can get out of it. If black connects, white can just go live over here. So even then, the hardest one has simple follow-ups. You can bail, essentially, and get a good result. Like that is a good result for white. So I would not play this as black in this case. It's only hard if white wants to extend here. Now this gets hard. But again, this attachment, if you don't have it, moral of the story, add it to your vocabulary of moves. And so here, up to this point, white gets a nicer base. You might go, well, white is still under attack. White's still cramped. True. But the difference is, number one, we have one more line of space to work with. And number two, do you see this E17 stone? This is actually slack. If white had this formation here, black doesn't want a stone at E17. Black wants a stone at E16. And this cut doesn't really matter. Black is strong enough in the corner to fight. Like, yes, there's Aji there, but black would really like to wrap around this group from this way. And so this E17 stone looks slack, and that's why this is a good result. We play this, and after here, I make my first, it's not a real mistake according to the AI, but it's a, slight, the AI has other things it wants to do. This is almost an automatic shape move, I think, for a lot of human players. This is a common pattern, and this is just the shape point, because now you're going to threaten to push and cut. And black ignores, and I play here, make these exchanges. This push cut is a little bit hard to deal with right now for both players, and so I just sort of leave it on the board. The AI is fine with that. It's not a real mistake. The AI just doesn't think I should play this, and it also doesn't think black should respond either. So at least not yet. I make this exchange just to help the base potential later. It's not needed right now, but you can kind of make it anytime. And I come out, and black plays here, which is much too slow. If we turn on the AI, you can see that the AI would just rather fix the defect at this point directly, or just go do something else, follow up on that shoulder hit. Oh, do I have to scroll down every time? Because it turns on all these. Oh, I can just do that as well. Maybe that's better. So you can see the color-coded AI opinion of the stone there. Okay. So at this point, white has a little bit of a lead, just a little 2-point lead, and that's not really much at all, especially at this stage in the game. We are not robots. We cannot read out this game to a 2-point difference. But this is sort of the first real decision point of the game. And for me, it's all about, well, look, I've got a little bit here, a little bit here, a little bit here, a little bit here, but there is no big potential for this game. And traditionally, maybe less so as time goes by, but traditionally, I like big Moyo influence attacking games where my opponent has to invade me. That is not the style of game we're playing here. And you're going to see in my other future Congress games, I ensure that doesn't happen. Like these very little territorial, like invade everything, Cho Chakun knife fight kind of games. I'll play them. They're fun, but it's not where I feel happy. It's not that I played poorly either. I don't want to say that I played poorly in these situations. It's just not as fun. And especially on the first day of the Go Congress, first day of the US Open, I start to now relate. I had a little bit of a I'll say a negative personal interaction with my friends before. Like I have a lot of adrenaline going at this point. Like I have a lot of like anxiety, anxious, kind of nervous sweat kind of energy. And so like my system just feels very flooded on that first day. Like I am not relaxed at all. And granted I have a lot of time on the clock, so I can sort of calm myself down for most moves and continue playing. But like if you saw me at the end of this game, my shirt was just like drenched with adrenaline sweat. Like it was terrible. It was nasty, like to put it like that. But anyway, so I'm looking at this board and trying to figure out, all right, how am I going to win this game? How does this need to go? And man, this left just looks too big at this point. Now feels like the time to go get it, basically. And so if we put the AI suggestions, the AI disagrees. Wait, what did I do? Always? There we go. The AI is like, hey, you can just kind of let the Moyo happen. Just make shape at the bottom. Here. You can build the bottom too. Favorite move is to play here just to continue to help out your weak group while, kind of limiting the scope of the top. These are all very reasonable things. And again, it doesn't say this is a real mistake. This is a 1-point loss. Great thing about AI Sensei is how do you turn that off? Sort by point loss? I don't normally have all these options here. There we go. The student level is at 5 Dan. So it's really being very picky. If we turn this down, you'll see that, if we go down to about the 1 Dan, 1K level, somewhere in there. 1Q. It's like, this move is fine, right? If you're a 1Q and you're playing this move, it's like, good job. But you can just use this little slider and it'll just hold you a little bit more accountable. Just color code things a little bit more severely. And I like that a lot. I like being able to slide that around and just have the colors sort of match the severity for your level. And I respond very much to color, so I'm aware of my own color sensitivity. So that's a really nice feature, and I use it a lot. But anyway, here's my plan. I'm just going to try to reduce. If my opponent plays passive like at all, this is just fantastic. Now my left is actually looking bigger than the right. Even though the right's more solid, I can lean over here, I can invade, I have lots of things to do. That's a dream world. Never going to happen. My opponent responds with this move. And the AI is like, pick a thing to do. Anything is fine. Like, just play somewhere over here. And I do. I do this jump out. And when I played this jump out, the sequence that we played was the sequence I thought would actually get played. We would turn this into this fight. And you're going to see another, I don't know if it's a stylistic thing or it's an actual legitimate hole in my own ghost skill. But it's a thing I do a lot. And it's that I really don't like fighting in my opponent's neighborhood. I will almost always, if I can find a way to craft a fight in my own neighborhood, I will shade my moves in the direction that pushes the fight to where I have friends. And that's a very common heuristic. Like, that's often a very good Go skill. But when you get to a certain level, probably somewhere around, 1 to 4 Dawn, that's actually not always what you want. Because if your opponent has enough weaknesses in their neighborhood, you want to fight there and make a mess of their territory and exploit all their weaknesses. And the thing that often happens in my games, because of either that as a stylistic quirk or as a hole in my own reading ability, when I push the fight into my own area, I end up never getting to take advantage of my opponent's weaknesses. And so you can see, like, on the left, like, this looks, let me go back a move. And again, we'll turn off the AI. Like, this looks very big for black. But you have to remember, there's this cut here. There's an attachment here. I always have, like, super emergency moves. Like, this diagonal is quite potent as well. This corner is not closed off. There is this move here as well. Right now it doesn't quite work, but this is often a common shape point in a lot of follow-up Josekis for this area, is this little thrust here. It actually is more annoying for black than not. And just to show you what I mean, even if black just responds very calmly, like black can't Hane here anymore, and you can even descend again sometimes. Take the corner for free, essentially. Is black going to defend this? Hopefully not, but again, if there's enough Aji in here, let's say black does something else, right? Are you going to just allow white to come in here and counterattack? Like, there is this little weakness here. So, we've got a weakness here. We potentially have a weakness here. We have a weakness here. Like there's resources. And so I'm trying to activate them. So anyway, here, like I said, this whole sequence is going to shade the fight into an area where I'm more comfortable with it. Now, the AI doesn't want to do that. And that's like, it doesn't say this is a mistake. It says this is like a 1-point loss. But let me compare the difference. So in the game I play here, we'll go back to that in a moment. But the AI says play here, which is the more natural move. And for my level, this looks real sus. Because look at how bad this cut just seems for white. Now I've got 2 weak stones trapped on the inside. But you know what? The AI is like, hey, or the AI is going to AI and be like, hey, you know what? These stones, not a real problem. Because we can go down here and this can live. Good luck figuring out how, but it can do it. You might have to make an exchange. But again, the reason why it's okay is because of this weakness here. This little push cut is very severe, as well as white can start to make eyes and cut off these 6 stones. And if these 6 stones need to find time to make eyes, well, then white can probably find time to make eyes too. And on top of that, if you just get enough liberties, let's say you can't get any eyes and black just, fights you here tooth and nail, and all you end up with is liberties and no eye space, well, eventually you're going to get to play this cut. And this cut is real hard for black to deal with. And if black is going to really secure these stones, well, now we can probably wedge our way out by attacking these 2. And so there are resources here. When you're looking at your opponent's areas, I know a lot of Q players like to invade prematurely, and they get real scared, and they get real defensive, and they get real jealous. That shouldn't necessarily be your deciding factor. It's about, what weaknesses, what resources do you have to fight? And so that's the preferred robot sequence. But you can see how it is fighting inside of my opponent's area. And that's a thing that, again, makes me feel real nervous. If you thought I was anxious sweating before, that would make me anxious sweat a million times more. But I need to be willing to do that more in my own games. All right, so here's the sequence that I read out. The way I thought this would go was pretty much like this. And the AI is fine with this. The AI is like, okay, this is acceptable. No, particularly big mistake here. At least not yet. And you can see why this is a little bit more comfortable. I read that my white group is basically being able to attack, capture something over here, or just live. And my center group, even though it's weak, it feels so much stronger than just having these 2 little stones all by themselves, right? It's almost out. Yes, there's a peep here, but look how much further out this group is. And so I felt a lot more comfortable playing this way. And like I said, I read this out and was thinking, oh, we're going to fight over here. And over here, I already have these 2 stones. I already have friends nearby, and my group is stronger. So this was, you know, it's a little bit of a stylistic choice, a little bit of a preference. But here, let's see how it played out. So my opponent played here, and this, my opponent should absolutely just play here. This is a much better move, as it turns out. Yes, white gets to play like this and can basically just live, but man, that's a small, sad life, isn't it? If I have to, I can play a few more attacking moves against this group first. So there's life here for white if black just backs up, and it's a very simple read. Black goes for everything and plays this move. And this move is not as good because it leaves some other weaknesses. And it turns out those weaknesses are bad. And my opponent, they're not great, but they're manageable. They're manageable. This 54 is very much a mistake. I don't need to play this right now. I should just cut. That's not a cut. I should just cut. And you can start to see how the weaknesses in here are a problem. For instance, if I even just do something very simple and play this wedge here. Oh, that doesn't work at all. Never mind. Don't Atari that way. Just wedge first. If I play this way, you can see these 4 stones get trapped on the inside. Real bad. In the game, here, we'll show you the game variation. The game variation, my opponent plays a little bit more paranoid, plays 55, and it still leaves this cut. And if black plays here, this is a real hard read sequence. I spent a lot of time, you know, reading out this move. Black is locally dead on the inside if I can get enough liberties. And so the question is, how do you get enough liberties? Well, it turns out you can just sort of keep crawling. And you eventually get them. So this is not acceptable for black. Here, and when black basically compromises, just resuming taking the moyo, I get to play here. Now the AI doesn't like the timing of this. It wants to play over here first, but whatever, close enough. And at this point in the game, I was actually happy to have this this whole sequence played, because look how much more of the corner I got that I wasn't necessarily entitled to. Granted, my opponent's a lot stronger too, so yeah. But now I don't have a cloud in the sky over here. Like I always want to, whenever possible, not have to worry about groups, or at least just have one group I worry about. I used to play a lot more like Lee Sedol style, where you make 5 groups and only really make 2 or 3 of them safe, and you know, let the other 2 or 3 like find some magic somewhere. I used to try to play that, but now I'm pretty firmly just like, no, let's just one group. I can manage one group. That's the right number of groups for me to manage. Everything else I want to be pretty safe on the board. So my opponent plays here, and this is a mistake. But this is also where I apply a concept that I don't need to apply. And again, it goes back to that whole concept of fighting in the wrong neighborhood, because I want to make a neighborhood. Like, look, my opponent's here, struggling to make some shape. I'm kind of weak here, but strong enough to fight. I have these couple cornerstones, but they're not quite strong enough at this point after this move to really feel good about fighting with them. So I apply the old adage, when you want to fight in the east, make noise in the west, except I'm going to make some noise over here on the right to fight to the left. And the AI does not like this. The AI thinks these are all bad exchanges, not necessary at all. But it looks good. Like this seems like these are moves that are so hard to review your game and go, oh, I shouldn't have done that. Because look how beautiful this is, right? Look, I wanted to do something more mean, more nasty over here. So I'm going to get some more strength. And doesn't that feel great? Like, look, these 2 stones feel amazing. Now this stone feels real lonely. And I feel so much more confident in terms of how this fight's going to go. But turns out I shouldn't make any of those exchanges. I think I should just play here or cut right away. Probably cut. Actually, AI likes both. Or just play there directly. Yeah, it does like this attachment first. And just to show you, it's like, hey, you know, just make yourself stronger here. You can take all this free stuff. And then if your opponent plays very solidly, maybe then you can play this. But you shouldn't do it first, because it's going to change how your opponent's going to respond. So that's the AI variation. It's really annoying that whenever I turn it off, all the buttons, this like moves all the way down. It feels like enabling the AI should be in a consistent place on the screen. Oh well. Yes. So I should speak a little bit about my opponent. I think I don't know how old he is. He was actually a very nice looking guy. Maybe around my age. I don't know where he was from. Like, his English was fine. I don't even know if English was his native language. We really didn't exchange much words. I think I've even played him 1 year before, but I can't quite remember if that's actually true or he just looked really familiar. But the thing he is doing is he's using a lot more time on the clock. So I think around this point in the game, like I had 20 more minutes on the clock than he did. So he was working really hard with all these sequences, both the bottom left and both this fight. And later on in the game, I'm going to use that advantage. I don't want to say leverage it because that makes it sound like I really knew what I was doing, and I really didn't know what I was doing. But I felt like it kept me in the game, just having a big time advantage. So keep that in mind, right? So I'm already up 20 minutes on the clock. We're over an hour into this game at this point. I didn't record time markings, of course, or anything like that. But again, keep that in mind. This is very slow to this point. All right, so here, and here I throw in, which the AI is like, yeah, sure, that's cool, but you shouldn't do it now. You should have done it earlier or later, but it's a little bit dubious to do it now. But it's still okay. It's still like these are okay moves. Here, let me turn the AI back on. This is where, this one. I pull back thinking, oh, I still have time to do everything I want, and I kind of do, but not really. So it says this is a mistake. No, just take these 2 stones, let yourself just have one weakness, which is basically the stick of white stones on the right. My center is rock solid now, right? It's connected up to my rock solid corner. White's still under a lot of pressure. Everybody's just gonna live, but now I have some strong central influence and a little bit of profit. AI says white has a 4-point advantage here if I just do this. But up to here, here it's an even game. My opponent tries to poke at the weakness here. Again, I'm trying too hard after this move. And again, the AI is like, take. This is all very confusing. I should probably explain this a little bit more. What is going on here? Well, the big top line story is black is trying to not die here with this whole group. So every move, black is keeping that in mind. White has some weaknesses, namely now that this P line, P5, Q5 line can be cut. And this corner is locally not alive. White would also love time to take these 2 stones to solidify the center. If black ever does find time to take here, black will launch a counterattack. So it's all pretty confusing. In this case, just thinks I should poke down to expose this cut and take the 2 stones. And that'd be reasonable, right? Everybody's going to live, but I get to link up. Very simple, much more simple variation. I don't do that. I go for everything and think that I found the answer, but my opponent's going to surprise me. To here, I pull back, and, I wasn't quite sure what my opponent would do, but I assumed something like this. And if we play here, what is this? This is exactly even. It's a game. It's a game. I thought something like this would happen. In that case, here I'll forego the rabbit hole. In the game, my opponent played here, which surprised me, and I wasn't quite sure what to do. like my opponent is trying to expose these cuts and make an eye here. But he hasn't made the eye yet because I can still capture. And so, okay. So I just connected and backed off. I should push through this. This actually simplifies it a lot more. This is a lot harder for black to deal with than I thought in the game. I have this, like what are you going to do, black? Like, these stones, if they try to move out, they're an Atari. So if you cut through, I can just play here. And, you know, I might have to give up something on the right, but this is just cleanly captured at this point. I still have some corner access or corner points. I'm up by 8.3. Like, real simple. Yeah, just a real simple line. After I play here, the AI still says I have a big advantage, but I am going to lose that very soon. You're going to see that happen here. I need to play here, and I know I need to play here. I know if I want to save these stones. I just thought this was better because I could still, like, I didn't need, like I thought actually what would really happen is black would capture these two stones, something like this, and I don't know, like, well, black is still dead locally. So I get kind of like Sente, and I still have a center. I don't know. Like this seemed fine for me, and actually the AI agrees. This is totally fine. Or the other option is if black follows through, or sorry, if black plays here, I could play here. Actually, this is I think what I was reading out a lot more in the game. Yeah, I guess in my own head, black played there for some reason. Doesn't matter. It's still about the same. We get something like this, you know, where I get to connect in the center, and basically these stones will either capture a stone here or live in the corner. Everybody lives, everybody's fine. Still to white's advantage. So anyway, I get turned in a circle a little bit here after 78. It turns out this is just much better, and it's better because there is this weakness here. You can see there's this ugly C point for black. If black captures, I can even just play it directly. Like, what do you do as black? Like, do you just try to live? You can't connect out. That is not allowed because of this wedge here. So, anyway, moral of the story, this doesn't do much. Like, it looks so good, though. Like, it's one of those, it's just a trap. This is just go thirst trap move. Like, doesn't that look good? Just like surround the whole thing, help the center, like connect up to the corner. Like, it just looks so good, but doesn't actually work. I should just play there because there's still this major defect. All right. Anyway, here. At this point, I now am like, hey, I should now play this. But this corner group is real weak. I take here. And after this move, black has a nice advantage because this black group is now currently totally safe, you know, for all intents and purposes. It looks like this poke is really severe. I can actually still kind of play this wedge that I wanted to play before. It looks like I can push and then wedge and then threaten, but the shape of these two stones is not good enough. I need another move, and if I play another move, then black gets another move, because that's how Go works. So this, you know, is okay. Like it's still a defect, but everybody's fine. After this move, I make this exchange just to get a little more eye space, and I play this one. I should play this one. They both, well, no, this one just lives cleanly. The other one does not live cleanly. The other one leaves a multi-step ko. And not only is it a multi-step ko, it's real risky for black to start it too, because black actually has the ability to lose the whole corner if black starts the ko. So this is almost as good as alive, but this is just alive. So keep that in mind. I play this Tombstone Tsuji, and I then screw up the next Tsuji I need to remember. So this is all normal, because I play this throw-in. This throw-in is a super common move in the Tombstone Tsujis, but you do not play it when you just need to make eyes. And if you don't understand the difference, it's because I can just play here. And if black plays here, well, you can see, sorry. If black doesn't play here, let's say black tries to kill me, because black is mean, you can see that black can never connect here, right? This is just Atari, so black has to come back. I can come back. Again, black can't connect again. And so I just actually get to win the corner back if I don't throw in a stone. So anyway, I throw in a stone, which makes my life a little bit more difficult, and turns this into a multi-step ko. How does this go? Well, if black has to start it by throwing in a stone here. But there's a few problems with that. Number one, it's multi-step. You can see the AI doesn't even want to take the ko. The AI is like, whatever, bro. Just go take a cool move. That's also very threatening to push through, so black feels pretty compelled to respond. But let's say we're humans and we do take kos because we're not AIs. When white plays here, you can see black can never connect. And black has to play another move here first. And so I can play here again. And if black's ko threat is not big enough, I win the whole entire corner back. So it's real risky for black to start this way. Furthermore, if black starts this ko, the reason why white doesn't have to even worry about fighting the ko yet is because black can never connect the ko. You just play here and you kill the corner back. Black needs an extra step. Black needs to let a ko threat go through somewhere. And so it's a one extra step multi-threat ko. And not only that, it puts the entire corner at risk. So it's a very risky one-step multi-step. And so one thing that I'm thinking about for a lot of the rest of the game is, when do I fix this? Because black is under no real rush to start it, right? You can see the risk, you can see the potential, but figuring out the timing of when to fix it is really tricky. And at least according to AI Sensei, I nail it. Like, I come back and play this ko at the most optimal time. Like, amazing, right? Like, oh my God, my Go skills are working. Anyway, that's not going to happen for, I don't know, 150 moves or something. So keep that in mind. But man, I nail it. And that was like looking at the AI game, like, oh, can you imagine? Like, that's amazing, right? Like, that's such a feel-good feeling. Anyway, my opponent finally takes advantage of the fact that I haven't responded to the shoulder hit for so long, and or move 100? No, 99. So about 80 moves later, my opponent finally responds to the shoulder hit, which the AI agrees with. Like, if I'm proud of responding or figuring out the timing for when this multi-step ko is supposed to work, my opponent should feel equally proud to find the timing for when to follow up on the shoulder hit. I think this is probably a little bit easier, just given the fact that everything is now settled. But still, go is hard. All right, so here I respond this way, and that is wrong. AI says here, this move actually wasn't on my radar. I was either going to Tanuki or just play here, which is a little bit unfortunate. But AI says do this, and just try to over-concentrate black a little bit here, and then take a big corner. Pretty reasonable. But here, my opponent follows through. I jump out. And, maybe there's something here. I want to try to keep a little bit strength, a little bit center presence. I now have some center influence as well, something to build off of. I still have this push cut. This stone very much threatens that again. So I'm threatening a lot of little things, right? To split over here or even attack the 3, to push cut over here. Helps this group out a little bit. My opponent cuts. Let's turn off that AI again. The AI actually wants this variation and just come back and live. This really makes better threats on both sides, right? Both for coming in here as well as pushing and cutting. So I can understand the AI logic. It's just real scary to play that way, though. Like, real scary. But at this point in the game, actually, I want to put the AI back on. You can see this is the part of the game where I'm doing a lot of counting. Again, I have a lot of time on the clock, and I'm like, I'm going to lose this game. I am down. I'm down probably about 15 points on the board, maybe a little bit more. After Comey, that's about a 10-point lead for black. And I'm like, I need to find something here. This game is not going well. Even though it doesn't feel like I did bad, right? I got to link up to the center. I kind of lived over here. This corner grew too much for black. And this is growing too fast for black now, and I never got to take advantage of the weaknesses over here in a serious way. So this is where I start. I'm preparing to go into beast mode here. Like, I am losing. I have a time advantage on the clock. That increases the likelihood my opponent's going to make a mistake. I need to go crazy, not like super duper crazy, but like the work hard, like beast mode crazy, like we are not taking any more crap for the rest of this game. Like, we're gonna be solid. We're gonna fix things when we have to. But the moment we don't have anything to fix, we don't have a problem, we're gonna play the most severe, slightly higher risk moves possible. And so we're entering into beast mode territory. So we take this Atari, we take this push, we take this cut, we Atari, and we connect here. And so after this connection, we're threatening a couple different things. Number one, to separate these 3 stones. That's really big. Number 2, to cut off these 3 stones. Number 3, potentially peep here and launch some larger style invasion. And that might be about it. We're threatening about 3-ish things, right? This defect, this defect, this defect. That's what we're aiming for. But these 5 stones, man, they're hanging, right? Like, they have no friends. They're currently in the black neighborhood. They have no real shape, and they have a cutting point. But we're in beast mode, okay? Like, this is what you got to do. So my opponent fixes that defect. I take this peep right away. The AI disagrees. Now, at this point, after I actually fix this, I actually need to fix here too, which was, I should have probably fixed the whole time, but it's fine. I'm solid, but now I have these little 5 straggling stones that are trying to work real hard. The AI is like, hey, black can win, just be solid, and you can chase this around, and white can never get enough points to win, right? This plus this plus this is bigger than anything white can make on this board. And that's what black probably should have done. But black is sensing a weakness, and so he engages the beast a little bit. He's taunting the beast just a little bit. Like, hey, you got a weakness here. Are you gonna defend it? You really want to fight? This is my neighborhood. I fixed. Did you fix? And so I fix. And again, same thing. Opponent should just back off now, right? This is a fine exchange. You have enough points to win. It's fine. But James was like, I can get more. And so he played here. And this move is fine. Like, you can see it's a 2-point loss. The AI doesn't really like it, but you can understand the logic, right? Am I going to really commit to attacking these 3 stones that can just connect back? Or am I going to take a moment to defend my corner and let black take some more strength and influence on the outside? And if I do that, man, it feels like, oh, maybe actually I think I would play there, right? Now black is getting even more territory on the right. Oh, wants white to fix. Oh my gosh, look at this. Look how white's territory is so limited, right? I have this, and this. None of that is big enough. Like, this is bigger than this is bigger than this, and this is bigger than this. There's no way, no place to make territory, especially while white is still kind of under attack over here. So, you think I'm going to let that happen? No, we're in beast mode. We're going to play this awful looking move. And be like, no, we're attacking these 3 stones. And my opponent did the right thing and just was like, yeah, I should just eat your entire corner. Now you get no points in the corner. That looks great. Now black's lead is even bigger. And the AI is like, hey, you should defend your corner. You didn't do it last time. You can still do it a little bit now. You don't have to come under attack. It's going to be fine. You're down, but you need to play this move. No, beast mode. We're going beast mode, people. Okay, we play here. Now we kind of have an attack on these 3 stones. Is it a good attack? No, not at all. But our opponent blunders right here, real badly. And there's going to be a couple blunders. You're going to see this little jagged area. Oh, that's a fun one, where both me and my opponent don't see something. But again, it's not that my opponent's in Byoyomi yet, but he's getting a lot closer to it than I am. And that adds a little bit of pressure. And so here's the first big blunder that my opponent makes. And it looks like he's almost trying to give these up at this point. He's like, look, I just want to make this solid, and I'm going to eat your corner, and you can even have these 3 little stones. I'm going to take a 30-point right side where when I started this game, all he had was 2 stones on my neighborhood, right? He had the 3-space extension, a stone here, a stone here. That was it. He's going to turn those 2 stones into over 30 points. Right, how do you win, like, as white? How do you win? But this is a mistake, and the reason why it's a mistake is because it actually helps out my 3 stones a lot. My 3 stones can come under pretty severe attack. or counterattack, I should say, because I'm the one trying to launch an attack. But this stone helps a lot. And the stone actually helps us cut a little bit. There's still a cut here that's a little bit of a problem. You can see that if I just Atari, I'm in Atari, but it's not a real problem because I can just cover it at the moment. But there's Aji here. There's Aji here with this throw-in. All right, so my opponent takes another good move. It's like, yep, the corner is now mine. And Black has the lead taken back because at this point I should play a very reasonable move, but I'm in beast mode. We're going to ask for every little scrap of meat on this board. Like, and my opponent, you know, is also in just kind of defensive mode, right? My opponent is also where, like, he's winning. He just needs to play solid, play secure, don't get into trouble, and he has more than enough points to win this game. So I'm going to ask over here, like, hey, can I counterattack something over here? And my opponent's like, no, not really. I'm just going to link up. And I go, oh, okay. Well, now in this case, I'll jump out. Opponent jumps again. Look at the side of this. Actually, this is going to be more than 30 points the rate this is going. This is getting closer to like 40 points if this keeps going. But nope, we're going to attach. Hey, can I have some more strength? At this point, my opponent should play something more inside. These 3 stones are not at all dead. But he's like, look, guy, I don't know who you are. I don't know what your deal is. But I'm going to take those 2 stones from early on in the game, and we're just going to make 35 points with them. Is that okay? Like, in your neighborhood. And I go, no, it's not okay. Beast mode. Like, we're going to fight for every little scrap here. In this case, yeah, Black should Atari this way, which is a real hard move to play when you're ahead. Like, can you imagine playing this move? Like he just wants these 30 plus points, right? He's like, look, I have enough points to win the game. You do not have that. You cannot win. But he plays here, and I want to look at the score now. Now Black's lead has gone down a lot because it's looking increasingly likely that I'm going to eat these stones, and I have some more Aji here now to exploit. This is the moment. This is a hard move to see right now at this timing. But if Black plays here, Black keeps the advantage. I am cut. There is a cut here, and it's a real hard cut to see because it looks like it doesn't really work. But, you know, if I play like this, let's see, if we cut off, hold on, whoop. Black has a move here. Let's play all the crudeness. White has to link up here maybe. If we get out, you can see, there it is, okay. You can see, we can't play there. Because there you go, White is dead on the inside, right? Black has this massive counterattack. Like, check that out, right? My little Rambo stones from the start of Beast Mode. Black can just calmly walk out and surround. But this is a real hard read, and especially if you are, again, my opponent's playing a lot slower than I am, feeling some time pressure, and is already in his own mind, like, look, I have enough points to win. I don't need to do anything complicated. Play here. I play another bad move. Again, the thing about going beast mode is you get to play a lot of bad moves that makes your opponent just really nervous because they're like, they didn't even consider that. Like, if you're playing bad moves, those are not moves your opponent is prepared for. And so often they need to take more time to respond to correctly than if you were playing the nice, predictable moves. And I don't want to say this is like a good go strategy, but, you know, in desperate times, like, if you can play some really hard moves, that's better than that they're really good moves, often. because I'm just trying to find a mistake here. And at this point, after I get all these exchanges, I actually have a little bit of potential here for the center. Like, check that out. Like, maybe it's not a lot, but it could be 10 or even 15 points, really, if my opponent leaves it unscathed. And that's a psychological burden for Black, right? Like, if you were just trying to play lockdown and just let everything go right to endgame, and your opponent all of a sudden finds a potential like an extra 10 or 15 points on the board, that is real worrisome. I should not play this right now, but I do, because beast mode. I'm like, hey, look what I got coming. Opponent's like, no, I don't really want this to be a thing. And the same cut, it works a little bit differently now. Now that Black is fixed here, this cut is even more severe. Black should find it right now. Let me just show you how severe it is. If white just tries to connect this way, this just... Wait, can white play here? Oh, I guess white can play here. Yeah, you need to play this Hane first. But there's a cut on both sides. And so if we play here, yeah, it's like just bail. Yeah, it's like bail. Black can still just connect out very simply this way. It doesn't even need to come out and attack everything. This is like the lockdown variation. And again, it goes back to black up by 13. Everything for black is safe. Yeah, white can make some more points here, but black got even more compensation in the corner. So this is the wedge. This is the real concept that black needs to find. Here, again, I'm playing another bad move. I'm still like, hey, I can make like 10 points here, maybe. You can see the smiley faces, because, yep, that still works. I respond here. But black doesn't see this wedge and Hane combination. Like, this is kind of a funny little quirk of shape. Is there an edit button? I don't think there's an edit button. All right, I want you all to imagine these three stones, and imagine instead of this little like half panuki here, just imagine black had a stone here, like at the center point. Forget the rest of the panuki. Like, as Go players, we're taught when you have three and your opponent has that middle jump point, these three stones are actually weak, and the Hanes are the best way to attack. But this isn't that. It's almost the exact equivalent of that, because the white stone is dead, effectively. So this is not a good, it's like black has a stone here, because this white stone is in trouble. And so this should draw your eye. Almost any Dawn level Go player, right, like, knows that this is the key point, just Hane. Like, you have shapes here to take advantage of. But because it's like in a panuki, I don't think he sees that. I don't see it either, for that matter. Like, we're both just totally blind to this point. I think it's because the shape is so weird and so foreign in most games, and just kind of flipped. So we get distracted over here for a while, and you can see this jagged area is just our opponent, or both me and my opponent. I don't want to give him the entire burden or responsibility of finding this. Of just both of us ignoring the fact that there's a wedge here that works, a wedge Hane combination. And so all these are just mistakes. You can see I'm working very hard now to turn this into as many points as possible, closer to like not just 10 or 15, but we're like 20 points here, maybe more. And at this point, my opponent plays another blunder, which, he's still in lockdown mode. If I play the correct move, he still has a small advantage. The game's not over. But I'm in beast mode, right? More. We want more. He's like, hey, I can now take your stone, but that's two huge mistakes in a row, and now I get to fix. And there's still a wedge here. I have to be a little bit careful. Looks like this is probably the best way to fix it. I should probably play that. And there's still Aji. This is much more complicated than I thought. But the fact is, I can always kill these three after those exchanges. Even if I take a little bit loss here. So neither one of us are finding it. When he takes here, I finally play A, and we're back at an even game, because look at the center. Like, this is almost like full on Takamiya here. Like, I pulled this out of nothing. Like, I want a marker. I'm not an OGS. I love the pen tool in OGS. It's the best thing about OGS, or at least reviewing games in OGS. The AI in AI Sensei is much better though, but everything else, that pen tool is king. Look at this. This is huge. And now, even though I gave up, let's do a quick count. 10, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, has to capture that. So, about 33 points or so in this corner, depending on how this endgame works. I'm not really counting the corner much. Let's say low 30, like this is 30 points here. I more than match it here. Isn't that amazing? And so now, black still has this big territory, and like, it's just real close. Like even the AI agrees. Like, it's a 1 point game. And so after black responds here, now we're in this like severe endgame. But I have Sente. Like somehow I made it to endgame. I was able to fix and get a response and go into this endgame in Sente. Amazing. And so a lot of this is just pretty standard endgame. And I think I'm playing a pretty good endgame overall. The AI, I'm playing every move is green or black. Like we are, except that one. That one's doesn't like that one, but close enough. Here. Yep. My opponent does respond with another yellow move, so it kind of cancels out, and we're still just kind of cruising to like a 2-point win. And it's so close. Again, I am so drenched in like adrenaline sweat and nervous sweat, and I've gone from like full on like beginning of the U.S. Open anxiety to like full on beast mode, like rah, just trying to find every little thing at the board, to okay, now we're in like this hanging on, like this is actually very intense. My opponent goes into Byoyomi somewhere in here. I'm getting down to my last few minutes, and I did not get to record the end of the game in this because, again, once I get down on time is more important than actually getting a good game record. But it ended up with a resignation because my opponent missed. I ended up capturing these 2 stones over here because of an intricate sequence that happened in here. After all these liberties get filled in, my opponent doesn't have to die, but it's actually really hard reading. It's actually very difficult. You have to connect this half to this half, like along like the first line. Maybe you can do it on the second line, but my opponent tries to connect them on the third line. And I can kind of make a fake sequence to show you guys. Oh, I missed the best part of the game of how I nailed this timing. Check this out. Look at remember our multi-step co-group? Check this out, right? It's still like it's a green move here, but it's maybe not the best move. Should play the other things first, which I do. Which I do here, and then here. The first time that move turns into the AI move is exactly the moment I play it. How many moves later? At 210. So over 100 moves later. Spike that endgame multi-step co move. So proud. But yeah, here, if we play this out a little bit more, here, let's finish that. Yeah, here. So at a moment like this, yeah, my opponent has to play here. And in the game, I think he played this one, I believe. Yeah. And this is a problem. I don't remember how he did this. Man, this was too long ago. I've been traveling for a week after Go Congress, so these games this is already over 2 weeks old. 2 weeks and 2 days old at the time of recording this video. And it's hard to remember I remember my opponent screwed this up. It's hard to remember how he screwed it up, but he did. That's the important part. Did he connect? I think he connected. Yeah, and this is a problem. This is a very large problem because if you play this, which is the AI recommended move, this is Atari, and you cannot connect. This is a snapback. And so there you go. So it wasn't quite right because he only had to lose these 3 stones. He didn't have to lose the whole thing. But late in the end game, late into Byoyomi, he had to resign because yes, I should win by about 2 points. But because of that mishap, it's just resignable. Like in a 2-point game, you can't give up 3 stones in your largest territory or second largest territory. So that was that. Man, so I got off to a great start. I went 1-0, was totally thrilled. And adding, another theme I'm going to talk about during this little video series is how little sleep I got, especially at the beginning. It's pretty common for me to not get a lot of good sleep at Go Congress, right? You're sleeping in a dorm room, like on a cot, or we'll say small twin mattress in a dorm room, new place, and like I said, I had some little personal dramas playing out that were also sort of keeping me up at night, and most Go Congresses, they're also just people are just hanging out and having a fun time, and you don't want to go to bed, so there's also just that, you're just excited to hang out with all these Go friends. So, you know, in this case, like as far as the Go Congress getting very limited sleep, this was true. What was different is normally like the first couple nights of Go Congress, I try to make sure to like get good sleep and have a good like sleep habit, especially while I'm playing in the big tournament, until I really lose a couple games and I'm like, whatever. But in this Go Congress, it was kind of the opposite. Like the first few nights were my worst nights of sleep, and I gradually ended up kind of getting a little bit of sleep as time went on, but I was still in such a big sleep debt. So you'll get to see how that affects my games in future videos. Anyway, I hope you guys like this sort of longer, more serious game review. If you didn't, I mean, don't watch it, I guess. Go watch something else on YouTube. YouTube's a pretty big place. They got a lot of cool videos. You should go check them out. Yeah, if you did, you know, thank you. I'm tired. Man, I'm like feeling a lot of the emotions that I was feeling on the board during this game. Like I'm actually quite pumped right now. Not sure if you can tell, like my eyes are just kind of like darting around and like it's hard for me to like focus on anything. Like I'm like yeah, my whole breathing is anyway. That's what I love about Go, though, right? Like, man, I feel things on this board. It's so abstract, yet I still feel it so much. And I hope you do too. Maybe I don't hope you do. Maybe it's kind of like torture, actually. The more I think about it, the more I'm like, this is actually like some form of personal torture. Okay. On that note, happy going. Come back for the next one. Beast mode. Get the